Hi there, Plant Girl here. I'm really excited today because one of my big orders, well, it's not big, but it's an order of bulbs, came in today, and I'm excited to get it planted. I got some things from Vessi Seeds, and then I had these two packages I've just had sitting in my garage in a nice cool dark spot, just waiting to be planted, so I haven't looked at them. Hopefully they're still good. And then I have a couple of bags of Dahlias and some Crocosmia. So I have Crocosmia Sunglow. Yeah, so there's two bags. There's two bags of that. And then this is other Crocosmia that I purchased at Walmart. And this is Emily Mackenzie. So Crocosmia are a great little flowering bulb. They give a lot of beautiful color to the yard, and they're very attractive to the pollinators, so I like to have those in my yard. And then I have that I picked up at Costco. This is Acidanthera or Gladiolus or Calianthus murielle. It goes by a lot of names. They keep changing their mind about what they want to call this. It's just a beautiful, stunning flower. Blooms usually kind of summer to late summer. And I absolutely adore it. It has a really light scent, and I want to get these planted so I get the blooms. If I don't plant them early enough, then they kind of lose their bloom if we get an early fall. And then from Vessi's, I have these Dahlias. So this is orange creamsicle, and I have two, I think, of these. Yeah, two of these. And then Boom Boom White, and there's just the one of these. They're already starting to bud. I can see the little sprouts coming out there. And then this is Wizard of Oz. So I'm really excited to get these planted. Some really fun varieties. There's three in this one. So I'm going to be doing these, planting these up. And I'm really super excited about those. I picked some really fun different dahlias this year, and I'm excited to see those. And then I had one of the cafe au lait that I planted up a month or so ago, and it just hasn't done anything. So I'm going to just dig it up and just see what's happening with that. It still feels firm, so I'm just not sure why it's not going. So I'm just going to dig it out and just see what the rest of it looks like. And then I don't know if you can see them, I have two dahlias in pots that overwintered this way, and they're growing fine. The one on my left here is not super strong looking, but it's doing all right. But I remembered that these pots weren't draining well for me. I had to use kind of a different mix than I would normally use in my pots, just because I couldn't get my hands on what I normally would use, and it just wasn't draining well for me. So I'm going to dig these out, just pot them in smaller pots for now, so I can dump these pots out and get them set up properly for this year so I don't have the same problems. So I think I'm going to start with the Crocosmia. I'm going to start with the Crocosmia and the Gladiola, because I actually have a video about how to do the Dahlias. So I'll do them up after, and I'll just show you when they're planted. It won't look like much, but I'm going to do these up here. It's not really a real trick to planting them, but I'll give you a look at what I do, and then I'll just do the Dahlias up. You don't need to watch that again. You can refer back to that video. I'll put a link in the notes below if you want to see that. But I'll get these. I'm just going to be planting these up in smaller pots for now, because I'm not sure if I'm going to put them in pots or out in the landscape this year, but it's too cold to be planting them outside yet. So I'll plant them up like that, and then that'll just give them a little head start to get them going. So I'm going to get some potting mix in here. Cold frame is getting full. We're running out of room in here. I'm just going to put some bone meal, and I'm just going to mix it right into all of this soil here. Just mix it in real well. This is a potting mix. I think it's called Just Answer. I get it at Costco. I've never seen it anywhere else. It must be something proprietary to them, maybe. I don't know. But like I said, it works really well for me, and I tried some other things last year because I couldn't get my hands on it last year with whole COVID and limited movement around different places, and things just didn't do as well. So I'm going to go back to this. So I'll just show you in one of these because you don't really need, it's just all the same thing. So with the Crocosmia, this is the Emily Mackenzie. This is what their bulbs look like. This is the roots coming out the bottom, the old roots. These aren't going to grow anything this year. They're not important at this point, but they're just dried up from last year. And this is the growing tip up here. And they might seem pretty dried out, and that's fine. They'll still grow. And then you might find some like this. This is how they propagate. They'll also set seeds, but this is like an offshoot, like a baby. So you can break it off like that if you want. It's just at the root zone. And plant them both out separately if you like. And this may or may not produce a flower for you this year. Now these bulbs just want to be planted about 3 inches deep, and normally about 4 to 6 inches apart. But I'm just putting these out. They have to be lifted in my climate, so I'm in zone 3. So I can put them a little bit closer together, and that'll be fine because they have to be lifted and reset every year anyways. So just going to put them in like that, cover them up with some soil. And when I'm done, I'll just lightly dampen the soil. Another thing you could do with the Crocosmia and the Acidanthera is you could use these little trays like this and just get them sprouting in the house. It's like just pre-sprouting is all we're doing right now, just to try and give them a little jump start before they can go out in the landscape. So that's another option if you wanted to do it that way. So that's all I'm going to be doing for those. And I'll show the Acidanthera quick. So these look very similar, just a little bit less hairy. So that's what they look like. And you can maybe see this one has a small offshoot coming out. This one's small enough, it definitely won't produce more than leaves this year. This little one at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that, but this will give you a nice flower. And these like to be just a little bit deeper, and that's to the base of the bulb. So we're looking at about 4 to 6 inches deep. And again, I think they're, yeah, and they're supposed to be about that far apart as well. But like I said, I'll be lifting all of these bulbs. None of these will survive the winter in my area, so they get lifted and divided every year. So I don't really need to worry about the spacing so much. So they'll just go down that little bit deeper, down to the base of the bulb, about 5 inches. Cover them up, it's the exact same thing. And that's all there is to it. So I'm just going to get on with doing all of these. These other Crocosmia will be planted the same way. And I'll bring you back in the end. You can see what I wound up with. I was planting these bulbs up, and I got to thinking, for Mother's Day, I usually do up a pot for my mom and for my mother-in-law, and I take it over. But it's been so brutally cold at night still this year that it's just a little bit early to be doing that and giving them, just something extra to have to take care of and haul in and out. So I wasn't going to take them right away. I'm just going to take them a small bouquet of flowers or something. I think I've cut some daffodils from the garden for my mom already that I'm going to take over there. And I'm not sure what my mother-in-law is going to quite get yet. But I thought, as I was doing this, I thought, wouldn't it be fun? My mom loves yellow and orange colors. So I thought if I did one of these Osteospermum that I picked up the other day, like last week I think it was. And then if I put some of these Emily Mackenzie bulbs down in the bottom, so they would come up kind of on one side as like a little surprise. And they're looking a little bit sad right now, but that's just, they needed a water. I just gave them a drink. These little pansies around the edge. I think that'd be really pretty. And I just put it in this pot because Mom has a pot that she has me plant up every year. So I could just put this together for her and I can keep it here and take care of it. And then when the weather settles down, I can take this and just lift it out, put it into her pot and set it up for her. And I might even do something similar for my mother-in-law with the Acidanthera and these osteos because she likes purple in her yard. And then I have some purple pansies. I think that'd look really pretty. The Acidanthera almost has like a purpley maroon kind of center to it with the white. So I think that would look really pretty. These get a little bit taller. How tall do they get again? Yeah, they get a little taller, so I might have to find something else to pop in just to give it one more difference in height for this one. But we'll figure that out. So I thought I'd just pot. I'm going to leave this one for right now because I think I'll just pot these separately and I'll take it all over because I'm not sure what pot she'll want these put in. She likes a different one every year, so I'll figure that out later. But I'll do the one up for my mom right now. Maybe even some bunny tails grass in the one for my mother-in-law. That would give that extra bit of height, that different step. If she has a bit bigger pot, I'll see. I'll just take a bunch of things over when it's time. But for now, I'll get this done up for my mom because like I said, this pot isn't pretty or anything, but she has a pot that's similar in size, just a little bit larger. And I think actually close to this depth that she has me use every year. She just keeps at her house. So I usually just take a bunch of plants over to both their houses and just plant it up at their house. But this, I'll be able to just take this. I'll grow it here for a couple of weeks. I'll just tell her what I've done for her. And like I said, I'm going to take her some daffodils. And I think that'll look really pretty. And I think she'll like that. I think she'll love these colors. So if I do like a group of these off to the side, I'm going to put them really nice and tight and close. Might be a bit deep. A bit more soil in there. That side. Hopefully you can see that. It's really windy out today, so I'm in my cold frame. Hopefully it's not making too much noise, and hopefully you can see with this angle I've set up at. Two, 4, 6, 8. 9, 10. It's probably enough. We'll take these others and we'll put them in another pot. Just one more. I think 10 would be really nice in there though. Cover them up. Put the osteo. It's a beautiful osteo. It's a bit tall for this pot, so I'm just kind of pulling the bottom off so it'll fit in there, and that's fine. It won't hurt it. Pull the leaves up. Like I said, these are looking a little floppy right now. That's just because they got a little bit dried out. I'm going to slide this over just a wee bit. Put one here. One here. And here. And these plants all like the sun. Around here, you know, once we hit, you know, the warmer weather of summer and the pansies start to kind of die back, that's when those Crocosmia will just be really coming into their own. So that'll look really nice. And I'll maybe, before I take it over, I'll find some sort of little bit of a vine or something that'll stand the cool and the heat that I can pop in the sides just to give it just that little extra element once these are done. But these will fill in here. Now that they're in a bigger pot, they'll start to spool out and fill in a little bit. This will get taller, and then that Crocosmia will come up here. I think that'll look really pretty. I think she'll like that. I think she'll like the colors. I think that'll work well. So like I said, I'm just going to keep it in my cold frame here and take care of it for a couple of weeks till the weather settles down a little bit more for us, and then I'll take it out to her. But in the meantime, she's going to get a little bouquet of daffodils. She loves daffodils, so a little bouquet of daffodils I picked out in my yard. And I think she'll love that. And like I said, I'll leave the one for my mother-in-law, and I'll just plant the Acidanthera in some of these type trays so that I can just take it over and pop it in for her and put all the plants in whatever container she'd like me to plant up for her. And we'll find her a nice bouquet or something for Mother's Day. And then this will just be a little treat at the end of the month that she can put out on her deck. So let's try and figure out what's happening with this cafe au lait. It just doesn't seem to be doing anything, and I don't know if it's just taking its time. Oh, it's put roots in. Okay, so it definitely is putting out roots, so that's good. Just gonna a little peek. Okay, well, it's putting out roots, so I'm going to put it back in its pot and just keep waiting, and hopefully it throws some shoots soon, and it's just a little bit slow to get going. It doesn't look or feel like anything's rotten, so we'll just keep waiting. Okay, so I got a whole wagon load of plants there. Got that cafe au lait I just looked at, and then I decided to put a lot of these Acidanthera in these little trays. There was 40 in that pack, and just a lot of soil to try and pot them up in pots. So I'm kind of stacked up on things. There's the Wizard of Oz Dahlia. That one was really, really long, the one Wizard of Oz, so I had to get like a really tall pot for it. The rest went in these nice little pots. These are just the perfect size for most of them to go in, most of the dahlias. So then I have, oh, and there was an extra Wizard of Oz, so I wound up with 4 of those. Hopefully they all do something for me. And then I had the Boom Boom White. And I had the Orange Dreamsicle. And there's another Boom Boom White that was really small, so I just have it in a small. This might be it. Nope. There. Oh, it's Orange Dreamsicle was little, and so it's just in a really, really small little pot. And like I said, I just have Acidanthera in these little cell packs everywhere. And then Crocosmia. I have the Emily Mackenzie, and then I have 2 Sunglows. And then here's the 2 dahlias that I pulled out of my pots that I had overwintered. This pot actually was wet in the bottom, and I've like barely trickled any water on it. And it had worms that had overwintered, earthworms. So it's not a very big tuber. I'm not sure if I'll actually get flowers out of that one this year, but we'll grow it on and it'll get stronger. And this one here was looking really good. It's not really happy about being uprooted and moved, but it'll perk back up. Like I'd said, I decided to do a little potting up for gifts for later. Mother's Day is this weekend, but we're a few weeks from our average lost frost date, so I did this one up for my mom here because I know this should fit pretty well. It'll be pretty easy to lift up in a couple of weeks. Should be enough roots there to lift it up and put it into the pot that she wants. And I can have some like some sort of trailing vine or something. It'll be warm enough that I can get something else popped in there to go with it. But I think that's going to be really cute. And then I decided to do a couple for myself. So those also have the osteos and pansies with the Acidanthera planted in the bottom. Those will be for me. And then I will likely do one more similar to this with the purples for my mother-in-law, because she quite often has a lot of purple flowers that she likes to plant. I'll ask her about that, what she wants though, because sometimes she goes more red in the back, so it just kind of depends where she wants it. So I usually just kind of ask her more about it and see what she wants. And for actual Mother's Day, we'll just take them over something just special for the day and keep, so that I'm not giving them a gift of work with taking care of plants right now. So I got everything planted up that I hope to get done today. I got all the Crocosmia and the Acidanthera and the Dahlias all planted and potted so they can get a little bit of an earlier start than if I waited for my average last frost date, and checked on those ones that I had overwintered, those Dahlias, and I'm really happy. I got quite a bit done today, and it'd be nice to have these, just have that couple extra weeks of jump start to work on. The Crocosmia and Acidanthera I think will be okay to be out in my cold frame. If we get another forecast for a really cold night, then I'll come out and I'll just pop some fleece or blankets over them just to keep them a little bit warmer. But the ground is starting to warm up, so it's starting to, you know, produce a little bit of heat in here, and the sun's coming up earlier and earlier and staying out later, so it's staying a little warmer in here in the evenings and through most of the night now. The Dahlias can't stay out, it's just too cold for them yet. They're like tomatoes, so, and peppers and that, they want warmer weather than that. So they'll go in the garage, actually, I think is where I'll keep those. Oh, it's so windy today. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.